In comes a man who would clearly be playing golf as opposed to sitting on the stand. The cameraman needs to get the money shot. Oh, are they doing some sort of offensive right-wing salute? I've never seen such a thing. That's a joke, by the way. That was literally what they accused someone of doing.
Eugene
who was praying.
Barnes. Royeugene. Barnes, B-A-R-N-E-S.
It's fate, people!
Say, good morning.
Viva and Barnes!
Can you tell the court a little bit about your background as it relates to your service in public service?
I was first elected to the state senate in 1974 from Cobb County, and I served 16 years there. And then in 1990, I ran for governor and was defeated. And 2 years later, I went back to the House of Representatives. I was elected to the House of Representatives.
I love this accent.
Served 6 years until I was elected governor in 1998, and I served in that position until January of 2003.
And after serving in the position of governor, can you tell the court a little bit about what you transitioned into after your public service?
I find this accent
did
relaxing,
exactly what I was doing
soothing.
before I was elected. I went back to practicing law in Marietta, Georgia, with my daughter, who's now a judge of the state court, and my son-in-law. And now we have, I think, 6 or 7 lawyers. Charlie Bailey back there was one of them at one time.
Okay. And Governor Barnes, would you consider yourself to be a trial lawyer?
Yes.
Okay.
We don't write contracts or we don't write wills. All we do is try cases.
And I want to direct your attention back to 2021, where you were approached by the District Attorney of Fulton County, Fani Willis, about being a special prosecutor.
Fani.
I was. I don't recall the exact date, but I know it was sometime in 2021. And she asked me to come down, and I met with her and Nathan Wade, and there were several others.
Oh, and Nathan Wade. Okay, interesting.
She asked me, said they were beginning this investigation, and she asked me if I'd be interested in being special prosecutor, to which I replied.
She met with Winnie.
That I had mouths to feed at a law office, and that I would not do that. And also, I just had a bad, well, I won't say bad because it happens from time to time, but I just had the FBI to report a fella, militia trainer, to me that said they were concerned that he was making threats against me. And because I thought it was because of the flag, but I asked him and he said, no, it was because I was too close to the Jews, quote unquote. And
the heck does this have to do with anything?
I told D.A. Willis I'd lived with bodyguards for 4 years, and I didn't like it. And I wasn't going to live with bodyguards for the rest of my life.
Ultimately, you turned down.
So he's
Yes.
making it out now that it's a
said,
thankless, risky job that doesn't pay
I'm
off.
not interested.
So Nathan Wayne did not profit from it. It was actually a
Nothing
sacrifice.
credible.
That's what he's setting up here.
Smirch.
Two
Morning, Governor Barnes. How are
Morning.
you?
The
Good.
Just
Jews.
fine. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
You said it was sometime in 2021. Do you remember
I think
if it
it
was early?
was. I don't remember the dates. They all go. I could look it up on my calendar.
Probably should have done that
at the
before
office,
testifying.
But I don't have that.
Why didn't you
Well,
do that?
I want to ask you about some statements that Ms. Willis made March 28th, 2021. She was talking about assembling a team for this case. Are you familiar with her work assembling a team for this case?
Well, I assume that's what she was talking to me about. But besides that, I don't know.
And I know you had
Too
said you had a
close
meeting with
to
some
the
folks, and Mr. Wade
Jews?
was at that meeting.
Sorry, I'm still
Correct.
stuck on that one.
So he was with the district attorney interviewing you about taking this case.
Well, of course, I know Nathan very well, as you do.
Yes.
And I exchanged pleasantries with him, but the conversation was with Ms. Willis.
Okay, with Ms. Willis. Were you aware at the time that her team consisted of Brian Watkins, Megan Vargas, Sonia Allen, Shannon Trotty, Thao Chan and John Floyd. She had reported that was her team on this case.
I know John Floyd was involved, and she probably told me the others, but listen, I barely remember what case I tried last year, much less.
Not something you
every
should
word that
publicize,
was
sir.
said in the conversation.
I understand, fair enough.
I don't know who you are or
But she said
what
she
I'm
was looking
doing
to hire
here.
more lawyers and investigators to work on this case.
She told me, it was to me, she said, would you be interested in being special prosecutor in this case? And I gave the reply that I've already known. I mean, about hiring other lawyers or whatever, I don't know. All I can testify to is what she told me.
Did she tell you at all why she wanted to hire special counsel and not use someone who is an ADA, not have an actual employee?
Assistant district attorney.
No, she did not. I mean, we did not discuss that, and
Breath smells.
but I would assume it was because in a case as big as this that you'd have to have some decision help. I know John Floyd has been in some cases over the years out in Cobb County, for example, and others.
Would you agree that an employee of her office, someone who was paid a state salary or a county salary as an ADA, could handle a case like this?
I couldn't tell you that unless I knew the person, knew their experience, and really had been with them in a courtroom.
All right.
Passed an opinion on that.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Say no.
Hello, Mr. Say
Winston's getting the
It has been a
leftovers.
while.
I hope you're well.
I'm doing fine, just getting older, but that beats all time.
That's true, but that applies to all of us, I
Yes,
believe.
yes.
I think you indicated that if you had your calendar, you'd be able to pinpoint a date for
I
us.
would.
Would you
Is
be
there a
damned
way
if
for
don't
you,
get
for
your
example, at a break, before you actually leave, to contact your folks to see if you can get a date?
Just a minor detail.
Yes,
When?
I could.
Why didn't they ask
I
Fani
don't
Willis
know
this?
how far back we archived those, but I assume I could.
Would you be willing to give that a shot for
I
us?
mean, I'll do whatever the court instructs.
So if I ask the court and the court says, go ahead and you could do it, that's all right?
I believe I had
I'll do
email back
whatever
in
the court
2021.
I hear you.
And you should too.
I try to live by those words. I'm not always successful, but I try. If I pinpoint a date, for example, I think the record is clear that Mr. Wade was hired for the position on November 1 of 2021. Does that help you at
No,
all?
it does not.
Then let's go to the meeting. It sounds like it was just one meeting.
Yes.
And could you tell us where that meeting took place, if you
It was in
remember?
the conference room adjacent to the district attorney's office.
So was it in this, or the adjoining building?
It was in the Lewis Slayton building.
And District Attorney Willis was there, obviously, right?
Yes.
And Mr. Wade was there?
That's what they
Best
better
I
ask him.
recall.
Why was he there
I could be mistaken
with
about
Wade?
that. It's like anything that far away, but that's my recollection.
Do you have a recollection of anyone else being present?
Yeah,
I do
there were some other folks, but I don't remember.
Why
Do you remember?
why was Wade there?
Were you introduced to Mr. Wade by anything other than you already knew him?
Oh,
Was
she
he given a
introduced him
title
as
or
her
anything?
boyfriend.
So at least as you're there, if I heard you correctly, Miss Willis did all the talking, Mr. Wade did not.
I mean, we exchanged pleasantries, but as far as the basis of the conversation, the reason I was there, Ms. Willis did the talk.
And would you be able to give us an estimate how long this meeting lasted?
Probably.
Just rough.
Probably an hour.
And during the meeting, you made it clear, but it was the thanks for the offer, but no thank you.
Oh, yes, I did. As I
who is now on the witness stand, taking questions in the Fani Willis disqualification hearing
What
at
the
the
heck
Fulton County
just happened?
Courthouse. The former governor is there because apparently he was asked by Fani Willis, the DA, to be the lead prosecutor.
Hold on.
He
What just
declined. That's a
happened?
job that eventually went to Nathan Wade and leads us to where we are today. So we're going to continue streaming this coverage of this hearing live in its entirety on ANF Plus. You can find ANF
Oh
Plus
my good
streaming
gosh.
through Roku TV, Apple TV Plus.
Oh my goodness, how dare you do that, you sons of bee stings. How dare you?
Done. You've handled high
I'll find a
profile-
better audio afterwards. We're not falling behind here.
I've handled Pretty good
That's
case.
bullshit. Sorry.
I sued Syria one time for beheading a client of mine for $1 million. I guess that's the best high profile. but
How's
that was
this
in
audio?
DC. I tried
I'll
that.
try to find a better one later.
And what would be considered complex cases, you've handled those as well, correct?
Yes, I mean we regularly do.
Is this audio good
mass
enough?
torts, class actions, business business torts, breach of contract, and most of those are complex, requiring many experts. We also do.
He did a Syria
malpractice.
beheading
I
video.
did malpractice
I'll find it.
defense
I'll find
for
it.
about 25 years, but since I've returned from the governor's office, I try not to represent an insurance company anymore, and I just tried a malpractice case before Judge Edlin in November, and those are complex cases because of the type of medical knowledge and that you have to have, and also because of the many experts that you have.
Thank you. Did Ms. Willis, and this is the last question, did Ms. Willis tell you why you had been her choice?
No, I hadn't, but I get consulted fairly often on
That's
major
better.
cases.
Sorry, guys.
Would you believe, based on circumstances in which you were given the offer, that it had to do with the fact that you had handled complex and high-profile cases in the past?
He does a
It
beheading
could have
case,
been.
but he's
I
scared to
know
take
her
this.
very well.
Bullcrap.
I tried a case against her. She worked for the JQC, and I represented Judge Robert Crawford, Matt Crawford, and she prosecuted him, and I defended him. She beat me at the trial. I turned it around at the Supreme Court.
So you had some experience with
Oh, I had plenty of experience with it. She's a very qualified young. Well, everybody's young to me, but she's a very qualified young.
After that one occasion, did you have any other contact with her in reference to the position itself or who she might be considering?
I had some conversations with her or Jeff DeSantis or some of those, but not really an in-depth, about who she should hire or
Yeah,
anything like
chat
that.
and rumbles, right?
Did the
This guy's
name Nathan
semi-retired. He
Wade
doesn't know
come
this
up in
case.
those conversations
No.
with her? No, right?
Yeah. Nathan was there, I thought. Now, I could be mistaken, but I thought Nathan was there.
For the
I
conference?
think Nathan was. I'm positive Nathan was there when I met with him.
Probably
Right,
not.
and my question was probably poorly
Why
worded.
was he
But what
there?
I was asking is, after the conference, and whatever consulting you might have done,
Yes.
did Ms. Willis or Mr. DeSantis bring up the name Nathan Wade as a special prosecutor?
I don't think so. I don't recall one. I mean, Nathan is a good organizer. Nathan can organize stuff. I've watched him over the years. So I wasn't surprised that he was acting as a special prosecutor.
And Mr. DeSantis, for the record, who was that? Jeff DeSantis?
Jeff DeSantis.
Do you know who he is?
Oh, yes.
Could you tell us who he is for the record?
Jeff works in the DA's office. I knew him when he worked for Thurber Baker.
Do you know what his role in the DA's office is?
I have no earthly idea.
Is he in media? Does that sound familiar?
He has done media in the past. Jeff has generally been, I like Jeff, and I'm very close to him, but he's generally been on the other side of my campaigns.
All right, so we're talking, the best of your recollection, conference, we don't have the date, I'm asking if you could possibly get it, but the conference you have, Mr. Wade could have been there,
Yes, I'm almost sure he was there.
and Ms. Willis, obviously, and Mr. DeSantis was there.
I think Mr. DeSantis was too.
And as far as whether there was anyone else there, you
I
don't have the
don't
present
recall.
recollection?
No.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Next time I'll take a picture, so I'll have an exact,
Next time, hopefully, you won't have to be here.
well, hopefully not.
Thank you, sir.
All
All
right,
right, Mr. Stockton.
No questions, Judge.
thank you.
Mr. Durham.
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. McDougall.
No questions for the governor, Your Honor.
Mr. Rice.
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Gillen.
I've been waiting for this.
I couldn't give up the chance getting up here, Governor. Good to see you again.
Good to see you,
We've
Craig.
done some work in the past together, haven't we?
I consider you to be one of my best friends and a crackerjack lawyer.
Well, I will say to you on the record that I can understand why they came to see you because you're the finest lawyer that I've ever worked with.
Thank you. I need to put you in the next day.
Yeah, there you go. We'll get that. But one or two more questions.
Okay.
You and I working together when it's appropriate. We've had no qualms about filing motions to disqualify the DA, have we?
No.
Matter of fact, you and I successfully disqualified the DA out in Cobb County in the Brown case, didn't we?
We did.
So whatever needs to be done should
You
be done.
represent your client.
You got that. Thank you so much.
Mr. Coturo, are you still with us by Zoom?
I am, Your Honor.
All right. Any questions?
No, sir.
All right. And Mr. Cromwell for Ms. Latham?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. Any redirect, Mr. Ravati? Can this witness be excused?
Your Honor, is there a way that we could potentially ask through you for that date if you can get it?
The question is, you want the exact date that the meeting occurred?
Yes, if we can get that.
And I'm wondering if we can, if it's really material, the exact date rather than just its proximity to the November 1st hiring. Is that fair? If he knows whether it was far earlier in the year versus maybe closer, would that obviate the need for the exact date?
If you can't get the exact date, of course, we'll take the best we can get.
Okay, let's start there.
All right.
I think, well, he may take care of it for us, just if we hold in place here.
I'm not sure of this.
Well, let me try this first, Governor Barnes, before you do a deep dive in the email there. Do you recall what time of year it was when this meeting occurred?
I'm afraid not.
Okay.
I mean, you know how this is. The day, the cases and the days moved together. I had a fellow a few years ago
Langford's
that
right.
said I represented him in 1978, and I told him I'd take his word for it.
Now, you wouldn't, I gotta ask, you wouldn't do that if it was a question of him saying he just paid you.
No, I would not. I will tell you, I believe lawyers should be well paid, Mr. Senator.
All right, so sir, is that something?
I'll have to look. It didn't come up right.
Okay.
I'll have to-
All right, we'll ask this witness to step down subject to recall.